Do they really weigh?
Actually went on a Wild Africa Trek tour at Animal Kingdom. We feel like there's some questions when we were signing up for the tour that wasn't really covered on the Disney World website. We felt like it's probably helpful for us to pop in here to talk about it and perhaps answer some of the questions that you might have. We'll go ahead and just get started on some of the questions that we had when we were signing up for the tour. So how do you book this tour? You can do it via the My Disney Experience app on your phone, as well as the Disney website. Booking this tour is very, very similar to booking an advanced dining reservation for any of the restaurants. The times do change, especially when there's a change of seasons and whatnot.
I would say usual rules for the Kilimanjaro Safari probably apply to this, which is the earlier in the day that you go, the more active the animals are going to be. And then also, if you get one right towards the end, in the middle of the day when it's the hottest is when the animals tend to kind of just be relaxing. When you're thinking about booking your times, if an early bird, try and get that first in the morning one.
This tour currently is $199 per person. That's excluding tax. It actually does have an annual pass discount. If you sign into your My Disney Experience app as well as on the website, as an annual pass holder, it knocks down the price pretty significantly. I think we paid $169 or about there per person. That's excluding tax. I think they do offer a Disney Vacation Club membership discount as well, but since we're not DVC, we can't really verify that. You have to keep in mind that it's kind of like Cinderella's Royal Table, where they will charge you in full when you are doing the booking. There is a 2-day cancellation policy.
This was kind of one of the questions I had, because I'm kind of one of those, I want to know where I'm going all the time and what's next and where do I go. So they just kind of give you these guidelines. Oh yeah, check in somewhere over by Kilimanjaro Safari. So when you go back there, and in all of the Africa area, there's lots of signage, and a lot of it seems to relate to the village or town that you're visiting. Well, just outside of Kilimanjaro Safari, there is like a little stand, and it almost looks like it's part of the theming, because it's like, hey, sign in here for your
animal tour.
For animal tours, yeah, for
animal
tours,
tour.
right? So that's that little booth right in front of Kilimanjaro Safari. There's an umbrella. There's usually a person standing there next to a computer to check and log in. That's the place where you check in. They do ask that you check in at least
15 minutes.
Is because they're gonna, in the next step, get you all hooked up to some safety gear and things like that, and it takes a little bit of time.
This one is a little bit near and dear to my heart. I know I like to take pictures and videos and stuff like that.
I was concerned that you were going to have something more like a GoPro setup where you've got a physical harness and maybe the camera attached to you. My phone case is an Otter case, which has just like a simple lanyard clip on it. So I was kind of hoping in a pinch that would be enough. There were 2 other guests that came, and they just had a generic phone case on it. The cast members were able to loop one of the safety straps through and then hook it to your vest. As long as they can loop something that phone case will probably be okay.
What I had was actually a lanyard. So similarly to what Mike had, I just kind of like looped it and just kind of like drip it on my person. So as long as it's not loose, you can attach it to your vest or hook it to yourself. That should be fun.
You're going to be standing above the hippo enclosure. You're going to be walking over the crocodile enclosure. Crocodiles will eat anything. So it really is one of those ones
and you don't want your expensive phone to be crocodile bait either.
I think it's mostly for the animals. The
what
phones,
about glasses and sunglasses?
Yeah, so glasses and sunglasses are fine. They will give you kind of a little, the little neck lanyards that go behind your head. I put one on mine just in case, because I am blind without my glasses, and if I lose them, I'm in trouble. Sunglasses, same thing.
Yeah. So they'll actually hand that to you, and you get to keep those.
And then if you have a bag or something with you, they do have just a little area set aside for these tours where you do have a locker. So if you do have something extra with you, I had a big water bottle, something like that, you don't have to worry about those. There's small lockers, bigger lockers.
I think there are more smaller lockers than bigger lockers. If you know that's the day that you're going to the wild animal trek, maybe not bring a ton with you, because just, the locker real estate is always a little bit challenging. I know the cast members will do their best to fit your stuff into the locker, but do yourself a favor, maybe not bring so much. And in fact, what they will do is, as part of the safari trek, they will provide you with a water bottle that has the safari logo on it.
And there'll be multiple places to kind of fill it up throughout the trek. Yes. So this is a safety issue. They hook you up, like I said, they hook you up into a safety vest, and one of those is when they take you out to walk you over some of the enclosures, you are hooked into a tether behind you. That safety vest and tether has a safety weight restriction. They will weigh you to make sure that you don't exceed that safety limit. So when you're checking in, they say that this is the maximum weight. Don't think you're gonna try and fool someone.
There's a minimal weight limit as well. I think currently it's between 45 pounds to 300 pounds. There's also a height limit. You have to be at least 48 inches. What they will do is bring you in groups, so you're with your family and friends. Your weight is not on blast. If you're sensitive to that, just know that that's happening. Then the next question is, how does photography work? We had 2 tour guides. They doubled up as our photographer as well as our tour guides, and they'll take pictures of you as well as the animals. They'll take group pictures and they'll take individual shots of you and your family as well. After the tour, they'll provide you the Photopass card. You can link to your My Disney Experience app. Typically, they say that the download takes about 24 to 48 hours, so if it doesn't show up right away, don't worry. If you don't have a memory maker, or if you're not an annual pass holder that has that, those photos will expire 30 days after the tour, so make sure you download that within that time frame. Keep in mind, you will get everybody's photos, not just you yourself. I think it's pretty fun.
Which can be good because it is a small group, so you get to know some of the people that were on that trip. You end up kind of making some friends, exchanging some phone numbers, just because I have photos or videos of something that I wanted to share with a couple other people. So it's kind of, gives you some memories from the trip, which are nice. So also sometimes they're taking photos with the animals behind people, and sometimes the animals do a cool thing. So even though it's not necessarily you in the foreground, you're like, hey, I was there, I saw that. So you do get everybody's photos, which is good. It is, again, it's part of the tour. So it is also those ones too where if you're worried about, maybe you want to enjoy the moment more and not be on your phone trying to take videos and photos like some people, then it's a really great part of the experience where somebody's there, they're taking photos, and you kind of can just enjoy being there.
And the other thing is, I think that one of our tour guides just said and just told us ahead of time as a warning that they will take candid shots sometimes. So we checked out our photos, which I'll link it to this video. Some of them are really cool. Like you don't expect that they're taking a picture, but you do get some pretty honest and fun shots.
They do give you also the heads up picture. We're like, okay, we're gonna take a photo now. Look at that. There you go. Sometimes it's easier to move you than the animals, so sometimes when you're taking photos, they'll kind of move themselves around or move you around to kind of try and get a shot with the animals.
So food is very near and dear to my heart. So for this one, I think it's about halfway through the tour.
Yeah, it's a little over halfway through the tour. At this point in the tour, you've done the walking part, you've done a little bit of driving around the safari. And if you've been on this trip before, there's kind of a pavilion area.
It's a private outlook area.
Yeah, or something in the middle of the safari area. And I always wondered, how do you get there? Well, this is one of the ways. So they will stop the truck there, they will offload. And what you haven't known is the whole time you've been driving around in some Yeti coolers, they've got tiffins.
Yeah, just like the restaurant over at Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
And in fact, the Outlook area, they have a name as well. It's called a Boma.
Yes. So,
like the restaurant.
Yes.
Like another restaurant.
So they will have these little metal containers that are common, very popular in some other areas.
And they'll serve you pog juice. So if you're a fan of pog juice,
or if you have not had enough of it for some unknown reason.
I love pog juice. So.
I don't know what Disney's deal is, but they push that pog juice on everybody.
That's not a problem for me. But there is no alcohol, so that's not allowed.
Yeah, alcohol and wild animals probably don't mix. So while you're there, there'll be a snack, and they had
restrooms.
Yeah, there's restrooms, water refill.
Restroom is quite nice.
They have binoculars there, so
Yep.
you could look out, and then also there was a couple of things for some photo ops. But in the food wise, it was more of like hors d'oeuvres or small bites,
like tapas.
Tapas.
I think the snack changes depending on what kitchen is preparing. For the food.
So sometimes it's Tiffin, sometimes it's Tusker House. So it varies, and they do make it special for that trek, whatever they make that day. It'll have some of the flavors, but they'll make stuff that they don't necessarily make at the restaurant, which is pretty cool.
After talking about food, let's just kind of talk about just how physically demanding it is. I think that was one of my major concerns. Like you're thinking about a safari trek, lots of walking, lots of terrain. So what do you think, Mike?
I think honestly, balance is the most important.
Yeah.
You do walk a bit, but it's not arduous. However,
there's a fair amount of walking. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna say this: if you're a regular hiker, this is not anything
That's fair.
like
That's
that.
fair.
Okay,
That's
so
fair.
like to call it a hike is
I'm not a
yeah.
hiker. By any
You
means.
are going to be walking down trails in the woods, and there will be tree roots and little things that you need to step over. So balance is key. And then, to me, the thing that I would think I would see most people having trouble with is going over the rope bridge.
Yeah.
You're hooked in. You can grab on either side, but the planks are kind of spaced a little bit. So
I
you
think
have
it's
to.
intentional.
It's well.
It may be intentional.
I think
don't know.
it's theming for the safari trek itself, but they're spaced apart a little bit, and the bridge does move.
Yeah.
So it is one of those ones where
It does require some balance.
yeah. So just that would probably be the most challenging part from a balance perspective.
And they do have water stations throughout, and then they provided us with cooling towels as well.
Yeah. So when we got about halfway through, or a little over halfway through the walking tour, there was a place to refill your water bottle. They had cooling towels, things like that.
And
So,
the rest was probably mostly spent on riding the truck.
yeah, most of it. So it's not too bad, but it is definitely one of those ones where if your mobility is challenged, you may not be able to do this one. But it is one of those ones where I would definitely always talk to the cast members, right?
Yeah.
Find out what's going on. Call Disney, ask. So,
Yeah, in fact, the Disney Experience website does provide a phone number specifically about this tour. I'll pop it onto the video just so that you have that information. The burning question that I had is, what about tipping?
yeah, so tipping, depending on where you're at and where you're from, can
Very confusing.
So
it's confusing to me still.
Yeah, so we've done the Keys
of the Kingdom tour.
Keys of the Kingdom tour, and in that one, we did tip our tour guide at the end. And there are some other tours in Disney where you tip. This one I wasn't sure. We had a great time. It was
Logan and Kit.
Yes, Logan and
They
Kit.
were fantastic.
And
they
they
were
were
amazing.
They are some awesome cast members.
Yeah.
So if you have them, give them a shout out. They are great. I was talking to Logan afterwards, and I went to go tip him, and he was like, "No, we don't take tips on this one." But he said if you do feel like you had a great time, you want to, they actually said, you can go give it to the Disney Conservation Fund, which I thought was a great idea. I would definitely, absolutely recommend doing this at least once.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would do this every time I went. I definitely want to do it again.
Yeah.
So I had a great time. It was a great way to spend several hours in Animal Kingdom, which as a park doesn't always have the most to do. Just because it's a little bit smaller. I mean, I personally think there's a ton.
Least amount of rides.
Yeah,
too.
least amount of rides. I guess that's the way to.
It's big. It's probably the biggest park.
That should be a fair way to put it. It has the least amount of rides. So if you're looking for something to do, this is definitely a great way to spend some time in Animal Kingdom.
And honestly, for this is similar to sort of my feeling on Kilimanjaro safaris is that it's a live tour, and depending on the time of day, what the animal's behaving that day, how they're feeling, it's gonna be different.
Yeah, and I do think with the thing that really makes this to me more repeatable is when you do the Kilimanjaro safari ride, you're on the road path, and you maybe have that minute or two that you're going by something to get a chance to see it. On this tour, because you're not always in the ride path, they will pull you off to the side of the ride path, and you will be able to sit there for 5-10 minutes. We got to sit. One of the giraffes decided that it was going to eat
behind us.
It was going to eat from one of the trees beside the road. So we basically pulled up right next to it, and we're very quiet because you don't want to startle a giraffe. But we were quiet, and we basically got to sit next to the giraffe for about 10 minutes or so.
Everybody took
while
pictures.
it was eating, people were getting photos. We did not leave the vehicle. Sorry if I made that sound like we were all getting out.
We were definitely inside.
Taking selfies with
hi.
the giraffe. But there were a couple instances like that where we were able to basically pull off and spend some time. One of the cool things that we got to see that even the cast members got super excited for was the elephants were taking a bath. So there was 3 or 4 of the elephants were all in the water. That seemed like it was a very rare event. Just having a lot of fun and splashing water everywhere.
Anyway, I mean, your mileage may vary, as
yes.
I often say.
They are live animals. It's a live event. The animals may not always cooperate, but I think they try to go out of their way to make sure that you have a memorable experience.
I think that's all the questions that we had, and hopefully we're able to answer some of that for you. I think it's a great experience. I think at the price point, especially with the annual pass discount, we felt like it was worth it. If you like this video, please be sure to hit that like button, hit that notification bell, and so that you don't miss our content. With that said, hopefully you enjoyed watching this one, and we will see you soon.
Thank you.